Does your prayer life ever feel transactional? Like you're putting in your prayer coins, pulling the lever, and just hoping the blessing you ordered drops down. But when it gets stuck, or the wrong thing comes out, your faith takes a major hit. The truth is, it's easy to fall into a pattern of treating God less like a father and more like a cosmic vending machine. We insert our coins of prayer and good behavior, and when we don't get what we want, we feel cheated. This is exactly why a bless me faith so often shatters under pressure. This whole tit-for-tat approach shrinks the creator of the universe down to a simple service provider. It builds a faith based on getting what we want, not on knowing who God is. We start to think that if we just push the right buttons, say the right words, do enough good things, God is somehow obligated to dispense our request. But that's not a relationship, it's an exchange. And a faith built on exchanges is incredibly fragile. The moment God's answer is no, or wait, or something we just don't understand, that faith can break. We get angry, disillusioned, and the connection withers. But what if prayer was never meant to be about getting stuff? What if it's always been an invitation into a relationship? At its core, prayer is relational. It's about conversation and communion. It's about aligning our hearts with God's will, not just handing him a list of demands. Jesus modeled this perfectly. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he was in anguish and made a request. But he ultimately surrendered to the Father's plan, saying, "Not as I will, but as you will." Matthew 26:39. And that's the game-changing shift, moving from trying to get God to do what we want, to trusting him enough to want what he wants. How do we make that shift from transaction to transformation? First, try starting with worship, not your want list. Before you ask for a single thing, praise God for who he is, his goodness, his faithfulness, and his love. This simple act reorients your perspective, taking your eyes off your problems and putting them onto God. Second, pray the Bible. When you don't know what to say, pray the words of a psalm back to God. This stops prayer from being a list you have to create and turns it into a conversation he already started. A prayer life built on a real relationship doesn't shatter. It gets deeper. It starts to transform you, not just your circumstances. Look, moving from a transactional to a relational prayer life is a journey. It's about learning to seek God's presence, not just his presence. It's about discovering that the giver is always better than any gift he could ever give.